Tom Fuller, coach for Buckeye Cable and BCSN, and welcome into another edition of Sports Flash. I have two wonderful sportsmen in our community with us today, Ed Alzapiedi and John DeMilt. Guys, welcome, and you guys have the coolest sport going, and it's Black Swamp Lacrosse. You're advocates of lacrosse, and guys, we were chatting off air 11 years ago when we started the network. Lacrosse really wasn't even on our radar. And we try to be pretty aware of sports. I mean, we broadcast 65 sports, I think, on BCSN. Girls volleyball and lacrosse, men's and women's lacrosse, are the two fastest growing sports over the last 5 years on our network by far. There's no question. Ed, why do you think that is, Ed?
Well, I think you're seeing kids that are really excited about the game. The speed of the game really is tremendous, and the parents love it, the kids love it, and it's different. You didn't start playing it when you were 4 years old, and it's really easy to sell to kids. You get a stick and you get to go hit people with it, so they really, the kids love it.
Yeah,
so they have a great time, and it's just a lot of energy, and it's fun to watch.
And this is coming from an old football guy.
Yeah,
Not
right?
that old, but you were a football player.
Yep.
Black Swamp Lacrosse, and John, you're Ottawa Hills lacrosse coach, outstanding coach. You're kind of, you and Ed are both Mr. Lacrosses in our city, but you said something I thought it was great about lacrosse and Black Swamp being a travel, because when you get into travel leagues, I hear it constantly, the regular coach and then the travel coach, and I hear it in basketball, especially in basketball, but okay, you can only do travel, and I hear it in hockey. You only do travel, you're not going to play for your team. Then it gets the school coach mad. Then you get kids pitted against one another. Are you going to play? You guys have the right approach. John, tell them your approach with Black Swamp Lacrosse.
With Black Swamp, you play Black Swamp Lacrosse during the summer season when you're not playing in your high school or for your community team, whichever it may be. And then for the rest of the year, you play whatever sport you want. We don't want to run into soccer. We don't want to conflict with football or basketball. So every sport has its season, and we want them to play as many sports as they can. We don't want sports, something like lacrosse, to take over anybody's lives.
That is so perfect. You guys have the perfect presentation, because that telling a youngster that you can only do this is just, it closes a lot of doors.
Sure.
It creates bad feelings in the school. So I'm so glad to hear that Black Swamp is doing it that way. Ed, 5 years of Black Swamp Lacrosse, 9 boys teams, 2 girls, a total of 220 kids in the program. Yep. Talk about the metamorphosis of the growth of the Black Swamp Lacrosse.
Well, it started out with a bunch of dads that wanted to go do some travel lacrosse, and every year it just became more and more people wanted to do it. So we found more coaches and we found more space, and we started as 3 to 5 to 7 to 9 and now 11, and we just keep growing because everybody really enjoys it.
Ed, has the growth, the exponential growth of this sport, has that caught you by surprise?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's the fastest growing sport in the country. There's more college programs coming out every day, and it's just really growing fast, and it's really exciting.
It is exciting.
Yeah.
It's constant action. That's why it's a great TV sport. John, you were a great player at Holy Cross. The stick skills. I get this from young kids when we talk about different sports. How tough is it for a young kid to pick up the stick skills? And if they want to be a lacrosse player, John, should they be early grade school, start working the stick? And talk about that a little bit.
Dave Petramalo, who's the coach of Johns Hopkins and was a defensive All-American national championship, picked up the game in 9th grade.
Okay.
He's obviously an exceptional player, but to say that you have to start this game in 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade to be any good at it, I think is a fiction, and it's just going to drive kids away from the game. It's just like any other sport. You put your mind to it, you dedicate yourself to it, you're going to get better at it. I've been playing a long time, so stick skills at this point become naturally to me, but I have kids on my team and opponents that we play where you look at these kids and you don't know whether they're right-handed or left-handed. They just work at it and develop it. So I think that the stick skills, you don't need to place the emphasis on that being the be-all and end-all as you might want to. Lacrosse for me, especially in an area in Ohio, coming from Long Island where it's second nature to most people, it's the pace of the game and the understanding of the flow of the game here that's the more difficult challenge.
And the spacing, is it a little bit like where you are in the field and
It's a little bit like that, and it's just because it's such a fast game and because the field is so large,
Right.
that to understand when to move, how to move, and where to move is the bigger challenge at this point at the high school level than the stick skills.
Okay.
I don't feel that the teams we play against, the players on my team, are challenged in the stick skills department from what I saw when I was living on Long Island.
Ed, we've had a lot of young ladies on BCSN that play lacrosse, and they love it. One of the things they love about it is kind of what John was explaining, is the constant movement, but they like the cardiovascular. I get that constantly from the ladies. They said, well, it's a better workout than anything I can go pay at a health club or a gym, or because of the. Do you find that to be true?
Sure,
That's
it's a running game. I mean, it's a big field, and there's a lot of movement, and we see players that you got to be able to move, and you got to be able to run, and it's just fun for the kids because they're done by the end of it.
If you're not in shape, you can't play that game.
No,
I mean,
it's tough.
basically you can't.
It's tough.
You can't.
I mean,
you got to be able to get up and down, right?
It's not easy.
You know, John, lacrosse has been something ingrained in your family. Tell the folks all the family elements of your lacrosse, because it's pretty cool.
Well, you have me, who's been playing for about 30 years.
And you're the head coach at Ottawa Hills.
I'm the head coach at Ottawa Hills. I continue to play for Toledo Monsters, which is a men's league here in the area.
It's kind of the Roy Hobbs of lacrosse a little bit. Is it the older guys?
Not as cool, but sure, yeah.
The older guys, yeah.
Older guys. So our oldest is 62 years old,
Yeah.
and we moved down to guys in their mid-20s
Yeah.
and just do our best to play competitive lacrosse at 47 years of age. As I am the head coach of Ottawa Hills Lacrosse, I also help coach my daughter's 7th and 8th grade team. So I have a 13-year-old daughter who's in Black Swamp. She's on the 7th and 8th grade team at Black Swamp. I have a junior who's an attack for Ottawa Hills and a sophomore midfielder for Ottawa Hills.
Wow. And your wife is a very, very understanding lady?
To this point, yeah, so far.
Oh, she's got to be a lacrosse fan, right? Somewhat? A little?
Let's say somewhat. We'll go with somewhat, yeah.
I get it. Ed, I'm sorry. If people want to get involved, Ed, with Black Swamp, how do they say they've got a youngster that you want to get involved? Ed, what do they do? How do they get a hold of you?
They can go to our website, which is blackswamplax.com.
Okay.
And they can contact us through there, through email, and they can reach out in any way they want to and participate.
And also, Ed, I want to, kudos to you and to John. We're very appreciative. You were kind enough to help us out with our Day in the Park promotion, where we're trying to get kids exposed to different sports and getting kids active in parks. And you were kind enough to step out and say, hey, yeah, we'll get somebody at all the parks. And that volunteerism was incredible, and I thank you so much for that.
We're happy to do it.
Greatly appreciated. Guys, we're going to establish a relationship with Black Swamp because your mantra and how you conduct your program is, our mission statement is the same. You want kids to play as many sports as they possibly can, be active in their schools, and that's what we're all about. So I congratulate you, gentlemen, on what you're doing with Black Swamp Lacrosse, and you're making a difference in our community. And we're going to be doing other things together on BCSN.
Sounds
Excellent.
great.
All right, thanks so much. Ed and John, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tom Coley, coach for Buckeye Cable and BCSN.